Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I'm FPL Dean and today you're here for a blank game week 34 special. I'm not doing my normal preview at the start of the week. There's still 3 games to go and my team, let's be honest, has not gone too well in game week 33. I mean, the card said that Palmer would get outscored by Kevin De Bruyne, and it is correct. At the moment, it hasn't got a hell of a lot else right, but there is a lot that can happen in the next 3 games, and I'm hoping for some good news on that particular front. But you are here for free hit 34. This is my best draft. I've also done a wildcard draft, and I'm going to share you my thoughts about my team at the moment, where I'm going to line up with 9 players this week, where I'm going to go with 10, or I'm going to go with 11, or if I'm just going to sit there and press the free hit button. I'm not sure, but you're here for the video, so hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully my rank is still inside the top 2,000 by the end of this week as well. And without further ado, smash a like on the video. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And a lot of people still searching out my name, which means that you probably haven't subscribed. So please think about doing so. Leave us a comment with your strategy for this week. And without further ado, my Thailand belly has gone. I've got a bit more energy today. I've lost about 5 kilos. And let's jump straight into it. So, blank game week 34 fixtures, what do we got? So we've got 8 fixtures this week. We have Chelsea versus Everton, which I thought on paper when I originally bought in Kukurea was going to be a great fixture for this week. Now I'm not 100% so sure. Liverpool versus Spurs. Liverpool can actually win the title this week, and maybe that will be the sign for Mo Salah to open the floodgates again. Who knows? But they're 3 points away. Good on them. I can't really congratulate them, but they've been better than the rest that have been chasing this year, who have been unbelievably woeful. The Premier League this season, I think in general, in terms of top end quality, has been substantially lacking. Probably a sign that some teams near the top, Arsenal, Man City, didn't get their transfers right at the beginning of the season. It's coming to lay bed now. Wolves versus Leicester looks an amazing fixture on paper for Wolves assets. Jorgen, Strand, Larsen and Cunha. You could rock double Wolves attack this week and be pretty confident it's going to return very big for you. Newcastle versus Ipswich. Again, if you didn't sell your Newcastle assets in game week 33, you are loving life. They are coming back. They've got Ipswich. Yes, they got spanked 4-1 by Villa, but I'm expecting them to spank Ipswich at least 4-0. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even more, and condemn Ipswich to relegation as well. Southampton versus Fulham. Again, that should be a really good fixture for Fulham, but Southampton in recent times have been shown that they're capable of the one odd goal ruining the clean sheet in almost every game they've played of late against teams you just expect them to keep clean sheets against. Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton have been in great form. No, they haven't. They've been god-awful. Ever since I bought in for Bruggen, I just knew it was going to be a disaster, and it's turned out to be a disaster. West Ham, though, they aren't in very good form either. Bournemouth versus Man United. Man United definitely all in on the Europa League basket now. Bruno Fernandes is starting to get benched. This should be a very easy game on paper for Bournemouth. Man United do not care about the league. They are on track to finish 17th. If there were any teams better than them, they will be getting relegated this year. That's how bad we are. Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. This is an interesting game. I think it's really good from an attacking-wise sense, but I'm not so sure it's a great game from a defensive sense, if that makes sense. So the teams that are blanking in game week 34 are Crystal Palace. They're Arsenal, they're Man City, they're Aston Villa, and yeah, that's it. 4 teams. Because of the FA Cup semi-finals, obviously Arsenal aren't in the FA Cup semi-finals, but they're playing Crystal Palace, who are. The fixtures of target, as I said, are obviously against the relegation threatened teams and teams that are still in Europe. That makes the most amount of sense. The FDR for 34, though, obviously, as you can see there are some green-looking teams, as I've covered most of them. Chelsea, obviously, apparently against Everton. I'm just not convinced that's green. I'm not sure that Brighton versus West Ham is green either. Newcastle, 100%, couldn't agree more. Nottingham Forest against Brentford, I actually think that's it's weird. There's no way that's a red fixture for Brentford. I don't think. I don't believe so anyway. I'm legitimately shocked that it is, but the Premier League still seem to think that it is. And Wolves, obviously, against Leicester, looks absolutely amazing. If you're wildcarding this week, you have to do a bit more forward planning. Man City obviously have a really good fixture run through to the end of the season. You definitely want to make sure you have their assets in your team. Crystal Palace ditto up until game week 38. Then you probably want to have bought all of them out of your team in that last particular game week. Brentford, again, obviously have really good fixtures post 34 as well. I actually argue they've probably got some of the best fixtures through to the end of the season from here on in. They've got some amazing teams, and their assets, like Mbuemo and Wissa, are in fantastic form as well. And then that's probably it. Newcastle, after this week, their assets need to be sold. Like they've come up to a really hard run. Aston Villa are one of them weird teams that you could keep a bit ditto of Arsenal, but the fixtures aren't brilliant. And for that reason, I think that you just got to, you've got to throw a bit of caution to the wind and probably avoid teams that are still in Europe, I think, at this particular point in time. So the free hit squad for game week 34, which formation is better? Is it a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3? A lot of people might actually be lining up at a 4-4-2 or a 4-5-1 or something because of the fact that they are not using their free hit. And at the moment, I might be fielding a 3-3-1 or something stupid like this. I'm not sure. The teams Bournemouth, Wolves, Fulham, Liverpool, Forest, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea and Newcastle are definitely the teams to be targeting. And these are the goalkeepers you should be looking at. Now, Saad did an injury in the warm-up. I still think he's a really good shout. And Nana, he's going to get a lot of saves, I think, against Bournemouth. But again, I think Kepa's a better option there. Pope, Sells, and Becker, they are your goalkeepers you probably want to be thinking about. In terms of the defenders, it's Milinkovic, Aït-Nouri, Robinson, Kukurea, Nico Williams, Canade, Kirkes, Hoytson, Livramento. Obviously, you've got probably money to burn if you're on a free hit, so you could probably put in a Verge or whatever. But I've just ignored him because I just don't think he offers anything attacking wise. And Canade obviously got the 3 bonus points yesterday, and he got a big 9-pointer. So I think he's probably better in terms of that respect. In terms of the midfield, it's Bowen, Semenyo, Clivert, Alanga, Montesi, Gibbs-White, Palmer, Enzo, and Mbuemo, Salah, and Murphy. I mean, I put Palmer in there. I'm not convinced on him, to be honest with you, but you're going to have budget, and he's got to turn the corner at some point. I've been saying this for so long, and I sold him myself in game week 33 because the card said that Kevin De Bruyne would outscore him, and he has. It just didn't do it by as many points as I was expecting. So hopefully Kevin De Bruyne will come back with a massive haul in the second game, probably end up benched and get me 1 point. So it'll be like 4 points versus 2. And I'll be like, that's the transfer I just could have avoided, really. In the forward line, it's Raul, Cunha, Wood, Vandenson, Jorgen, Strand, Larson, and Wissa. They're all really good options, all worthy of a look. And I suppose that now it's just a matter of picking out players that I think are really good on a free hit or a wildcard this particular game week. So let's start with him. Kukurea at 5.4 million. I think of all the Chelsea defenders, he is the one that is the most attacking. Unfortunately, his goal that he got in the time I've owned him in my team was in the Europa Conference League, which is not ideal. Hopefully he can. The week I need him this week, I needed him game week 32 and he did diddly squat. In game week 34, can you please just go back to the chant about Haaland and Kukurea and get me a goal and keep a clean sheet? It ain't that hard. He's definitely going to be my team in game week 34 unless I free hit. So he needs to deliver. Gibbs-White, I think he's going to be great. He's just nailed on to start. And I think at this point in the season, we are learning very quickly that if your player is playing 90 minutes, that is much better for your team than players that you're wondering if they're going to make 60 and get the second appearance point, or if they're even going to be starting the game. Gibbs-White, if he's fit and available, which he is at the moment, 100% going to be starting, and I think he's just a great value option, particularly at 6.4 since he's dropped in price as well. Bowen at 7.5, this man just continues to get it done. He is a talisman for West Ham. He plays 90 minutes every week. He's someone I've wanted to own all season long, and maybe this is the week where he finally comes in to the D Units team. I think there's a strong likelihood that Jared Bowen actually makes his way into my team by the end of this game week, even though I have Verbruggen in goal. If I free hit, Verbruggen will not be in goal and Jared Bowen will 100% be in my team. If I don't free hit, then it's going to be a bit of a clash, but it's one of those things and you just don't expect your keepers to keep clean sheets anyway at the rate we're going at the moment. Nick Pope is definitely the best goalkeeper to have this week. I think against Ipswich, I think that is the most likelihood of getting a clean sheet. Ipswich just looked bad against Arsenal yesterday, and that's the truth of it. Salah, I think you've got to have him. You're going to have the budget to have him. He's got to break the scoring shackles at some point. He's had a very disappointing last month, 100%. I don't know if that's coincided with the fact that he's been on Ramadan and then it's just the contract's been signed and now he's eased off the gas. I'm not sure, but it's worrying if this is the sign of what's going to happen for the next 2 years for Liverpool, which hopefully is a good sign for the rest of the league. But not good. Not good for fantasy at the moment. He needs to lift up his game, but he's still someone you definitely need on a free hit, I think, this week. Cunha is 100% going to be in teams this week. He is even he might even be the best captaincy shout this week. 6.8 million. He's come back from his suspension, 8 points off the bench last week, 5 this week. Obviously got the assist leading up to that free kick. I think he's due a massive haul against Leicester. And Brian Mbuemo, 7.9 million. What a man. He continues to get the job done. What a great man. What an absolute great man. He's unbelievably good. That's the best way of putting it. He's just unbelievably good. And another 18 points. He just loves beating up on teams. When he goes ham, he goes massively ham. Isaac, he's probably the most owned forward for this particular game week, especially on free hit. I mean, Ipswich at home, 9.5 million. He's just great value. He's been a bit underwhelming of late, but I think against Ipswich, it's hard to not recommend him in your teams. Wissa, again, is the third forward. I think it's between him, Van Linson, and probably Strand Larson for that third spot. I think Cunha and Isaac pick themselves, and then the third one's really up for debate, especially if you're playing a 3-4-3. I think you want to just load up on some of these assets. And for that reason, I think that, I don't know, Cunha's and Isaac definitely on penalties, maybe towards the sign of someone that is on penalties. I'm not sure. But Wissa, for me, he just continues to get big chances. And when Brentford score, you either expect them, Mbeumo and Wissa, one of them to be involved, if not both of them. Robinson, again, he looks amazing on paper as well. That nice Southampton fixture. He's due an assist. He hasn't had an assist in quite a long time, and maybe this is the week he breaks it. Milinkovic, obviously, he's just there from the attacking threat. I don't think Brentford are overly good on set pieces defending him, and I think Milinkovic could potentially get an attacking return. I expect Brentford to score in this game, but I just think that, Milinkovic could get an attacking return. And Ait-Nouri, again, they're versus Leicester. There's every chance Ait-Nouri gets an attacking return. As much as I hate to say it, I probably should have gone him over Ait-Nouri when I did that. Unfortunately, I did not. It is one of those things. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get them wrong. So, blank game week 34 free hit draft. What does it look like? Now, unbelievably, when I put this squad together, and I'd spent a lot of time debating over this based on the fixtures this week and everything, this squad only cost 98 million. Every man and his dog can afford this squad. Like, it's within the realms of everyone. And it's just a matter of personal preference, really. I've literally sat there and I've literally targeted the fixtures that look great on paper this week. Like, that's it. I've only looked at the fixtures that look great on paper this week, and I've come up with this team. Captaincy's decision, as I said before, is very difficult due to the form of some players. Like Mo Salah, if he was in great form against the Spurs team, they're going to be worried about Europe. I would say 100% you are captaining Mo Salah. However, his form has dived off a cliff. He had 3 great chances, I think in the first half yesterday against Leicester, and made a meal of all of them. I can't back him in with any great confidence at all at the moment. So for that reason, and that reason alone, I think Jacob Murphy's in the captaincy shout this week. I think Brian Mbeumo's in the captaincy shout this week. And I think Cunha's in the captaincy shout this week. And probably Isaac as well. So I think there's a lot of options to go round. I think betting against Mo Salah might actually be the correct play again this week. I don't know. It's just hard to... The fact that he's just gone completely off the boil just means that you've really got to think about it. And again, as I said, it's all about targeting players that are no longer in Europe. So for me, that's why I've gone with Kepa in goal and Kirkes. I've tried to fit Kluivert in here, but I just think that compared to the rest, I don't think Kluivert beats the rest of them, or even Semenyo. I think the other 5 the midfielders are just, there's so many good ones at the moment. I wish we had a 6 midfielder slot so we could play it, but alas, we do not. And it's one of those things that, yeah, I just think you've just got to roll with it and hope for the best. And at the moment, that's where I've got it. Game week 34, free hit, 98 million squad. Tell me there's a better squad. Tell me which players I'm missing from this that you actively would have in your squads instead. Originally, I thought Palm would be a great asset, but he's in such unbelievably woeful form that he just can't be trusted. And yeah, he's just been massively poor. So for me, he just doesn't make one of these squads. And for that reason, you don't really need that much money at this moment in the season. I can't believe that. I've got a squad value of over 108 million and I'm barely using any of it to put this draft together. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if you are wildcarding, though, in Game Week 34, it's slightly different because you do have to worry about the fixtures that come after Game Week 34. And for that reason, I've had a look ahead to the fixtures, particularly in Game Week 38, and then the fixtures immediately from 35 to 37. And I think you definitely want your Man City players in there. You definitely want your Guavio. You definitely want your Marmouche still in there. You definitely want your Saliba and Raya. We've seen, obviously, Arsenal defence just shut them out in Ipswich. And Saliba and Raya are 2 guaranteed players that seem to play 90 minutes every single week. And for that reason, I think you've just got to roll them and play them and hope for the best. And obviously you can bench them when you need, and Arsenal's defense is good. But again, you don't need the money for anything else. Like, I still had 4 million left in my bank when I put this team together, which just goes to show that team value at this point of the season means diddly squat. I thought it was going to mean something, but Erling Haaland went down and Palmer's gone off the boil and Saka's getting benched, and now all of a sudden team value means absolutely nothing because the premium assets that were meant to be delivering and taking up my team value are no longer applicable. Like, they're just either injured or they're done or they're just cooked. maybe they'll return and then the money will be relevant again. But at the moment, it doesn't. So again, this allows you to bench boost if you haven't already played that chip over the coming weeks. And it fields a team in game week 34 that also looks really good on paper. And then next week, if you've got money left over, you can then get rid of Barnes and Isaac for other players where they've got better fixtures and that moving forward. Obviously, you've got a trip up on Forest who look really good between now and the end of the season, regardless of what happens in the FA Cup. You've also got the potential for further double game week and blank game week being covered in 36 to 37. Now, if Forest versus City, whoever wins out of that, you're going to have 2 of their players or 3 of their players, respectively, already for either a double game week 36 or a blank game week 37, and you can alter around off that. Obviously, I haven't got Aston Villa or Crystal Palace in this draft at all. I'm just ignoring that fixture, and you can just base your transfers around that from now and through to the end of the season if you so want to transfer and build your squad and target those fixtures. Entirely up to you. Also, you can then transfer your last 4 transfers of the season into a great game week 38 team, because there are some amazing fixtures on the last day of the year and the season, and I think that will be a really good place to go, particularly if you're chasing rank and you're at that time of the thing. And with that being said, now it's time to have a look at what I'm doing with my team at the moment in this particular game week. So the main transfers I've already done. I did Cole Palmer in the end to Kevin De Bruyne prior to the deadline when I couldn't do it. My Thailand belly was just killing me. I was sitting there, I flipped a card and I was like, and I actually asked the card this, I was like, do I transfer Palmer to Kevin De Bruyne? And then I put one on the one side and it landed on Kevin De Bruyne, bring him in. I was like, okay. Then I did another card flip and I said, should I take a hit for game week 34 or not? And I flicked it and it said, don't take a hit. So maybe the card was saying that Kevin De Bruyne was going to outscore Palmer this game week, which he has done, but he's not going to outscore him by enough to make a -8 worth it this week. So maybe that's what it was trying to communicate. I'm not 100% sure. It also called Saka over Marmoush. And at the moment, it looked really good. Saka should definitely have returned in that first half yesterday. 2 assists of his assist. But alas, yeah. I mean, I could have, if I'd just gone on Mbeumo from Palmer straight off the bat, man, imagine how much happier I'd be. But look, I'd always had Mbeumo coming into my squad for game week 34. Unfortunately, I just wish I wish I brought him in on wildcard instead of Cole Palmer. That's honestly the answer where I've gone to, because Mbeumo's comfortably outscored Cole Palmer from game week 30 through to now, just off the 1 week alone that he's had this week. It's just one of those things. Unfortunately, sometimes you get them right, sometimes you get them wrong. This is definitely one of the wrong decisions. I actually think that my luck this week has been attributed very much to my Thailand belly. I felt absolutely horrible and my team has performed absolutely horribly. I've coming out the other side of it. I've got 3 games. Hopefully that means that my FPL assets are going to start delivering for me in the last 3 games of this particular game week to retrieve my rank. So my other potential transfers for blank game week 34, and this is what I'm looking at doing. Mateta, Saka, and Ismail Assar, this would involve doing a -8. Now, let me know in the comments if this is worth a -8, because I am not sure that it is. And obviously, the assets that I'll be looking to bring in are Cunha, Bowen, and Gibbs White. As I said, Nottingham Forest have a really good run of fixtures through to the end of the season, as do West Ham. And Cunha just looks amazing, and he is the talisman. He's back in the team, and I expect him to perform well through to the end of the season as well. My line of thinking, obviously, to try and get Wisser in next week, potentially for an Isaac or a Cunha. This could just be a 1 week play with Cunha. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, this would allow me to keep my free hit and my triple captain for the last 4 game weeks of the season, which does sound good. Obviously, I'm going to be on a red arrow this week. I was expecting that anyway, with lots of people playing bench boost. And obviously, I would be on you would think I'd be on a red arrow in blank game week 34, taking a -8 into it. I'm just working out whether it's worth taking a -8 and fielding 11, or taking a -4 and fielding 10, or taking none and just fielding 9. I think my 9 players are going to look pretty good on paper. But again, sometimes it works out really well, and then other times it doesn't. It is one of those ones. Let me know what you think I should do in the comments. And then this is what the team is currently looking like at the moment. So we're going to have Verbruggen in goal against West Ham. And again, as I said, I really want to bring Bowen in, as that would definitely go against my line of thinking. Like, I'm literally expecting Verbruggen to concede. Burn obviously looks really good against Ipswich at home. Brentford with Milenkovic, I'm not expecting massive things there, but he could get an attacking return. Kukurea against Everton. This was the reason why I bought Kukurea and Verbruggen for this week. And now I'm not even convinced on either of them. Yeah, obviously Mbeumo's coming for De Bruyne, but obviously if I play the free hit, then obviously De Bruyne will come back in next week, game week. That's how the chip works. It cancels all your transfers out that you've already made. So Mbeumo, obviously against Nottingham Forest looks good. Mo Salah against Tottenham looks good. Jacob Murphy against Ipswich looks good. So the players I've got there, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 look really good. Then Isaac up front as my 8th player against Ipswich at home, again, looks really good. I will make another free transfer, which will give me 9. So I could have 9 really good looking players on paper, but a lot of people are going to be playing their free hit, which means I'm going to be missing out most likely on points. Now, I am aware that last time I played the blank game week 29, I've played a squad of 12. I took a -4 and I picked Bruno as captain. I got a massive, massive green arrow, sent me inside the top 2,000. So, yeah, I just think that those are my 3 transfers that I am likely to make. Mateta will almost 100% be gone for Cunha, and that would give me a 9 really good players. It's just a matter of whether I want to take a -4 or a -8, or if I just want to roll. I mean, if I hadn't done the Kevin De Bruyne to Palmer transfer, I would have had 11 players this week for free. So, and my line of thinking, I'm like going, I really need Kevin De Bruyne to just sit there and show up in the second game to make it worthwhile. Because if he doesn't, I'm going to be feeling like it was just a dumb transfer, and potentially it's, going to cost me about 1,000 places in rank. It's just one of those things. I was feeling awful. I wasn't really thinking clearly. I was so dehydrated, and unfortunately I'll click that button. So that brings us to the end of the free hit game week 34 special. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully, let me know in the comments if you are free hitting, if you're just rolling transfers, are you taking hits this week, and which players are you thinking about having that may be a differential that I haven't covered in this video. I will be back later in the week for a game week preview. It might be tomorrow. It might be Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure. And then I'll be back Thursday and Friday. I'll be back Thursday with a very late video, Friday with team selection, and we are on for a special edition deadline stream. Tom will be in the building. We will get him pinted up to the max, and who knows what's going to come out of his mouth, but it won't be PG rated. I can guarantee you that. If you made it all the way through to the end of this video, thank you very much. Smash a like on the video before you leave, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll catch you again soon. That's been the D Unit.